Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's time for the old PlayStation 2 Portable versus, the new 2021 model. I just want to do a side-by-side comparison, so stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because we're going to take a close look at the two PlayStation 2 portables from our friends from China. Yeah, so I bought the new edition. I did full extended reviews about these products, but I just wanted to show you what are the differences between the system and did they improve and what did they improve. So when it comes to PlayStation 2 portable devices, this is just a really niche market. And basically what you're doing, like having real PlayStation 2 hardware, slim it down and slap it into a case. But in overall, these things are super expensive. And that's more like the common problem we're having. But this is just something really exclusive. But this is worth your money, because the old and the new version has some cons that I've shown you in the full reviews. Okay, so let's take a close look at the older model. So this was the version I could choose any color, and I chose the white version. I like have this black and white combination, so it was really cool. And first of all, this version already had like an issue with the buttons, just like a combination that you need to press them really hard. They click just fine. I never fixed it because it's very hard to open these things up, but that's something I will show you later on this comparison video. The first major issue I had was more like the paint job was pretty damn awful. It was horrible and it had a lot of flaws like paint job issues, and you're paying a lot of money for this, so I was quite disappointed. Especially just want to give you a quick look at the side. You can see like we're having different colors, and they didn't even use enough paint to cover the freaking handheld, so that was a bummer. So for the 2021 model, I have chosen the black color. I just want to have something differently. There are a lot of colors you can choose, like orange, gold, but I just want to have like the authentic black color. But the problem is with this device, the paint job is a little bit better, but it's still flawed. It looks like somebody put a finger in it or in the paint job when it was not really dry. But then overall, oh man, what a disaster. But I must say, in overall, when you're looking at the paint job, it was a little bit better than a white one, so there is something positive with the new version. When you're seeing the handhelds on the picture, you will say like, hey, they're exactly the same, or I see some minor, let's say, differences. But there are a lot of differences, actually. So that's the reason I want to make this side-by-side comparison, to show you what are like also the minor differences between them, because the shells look very similar. Maybe they are, but they're still different. Okay, so the first difference that we're going to get is, of course, the joystick. They're using like the authentic PlayStation 2 joystick with the older model. I do like them. They're a little bit too big, because when you're holding the handheld, it's already like a beefcake handheld. And combined with the joystick, I'm very pleased to see that they basically switched it out to the PlayStation 4 joystick. It's smaller and it plays way comfortable than the older ones. So fun fact, the old model, this D-pad feels more sturdy than the other one. This one feels a little bit flimsy. But I can tell you, like when I did like the extended testing, oh boy, both of them are having not a good reaction. Or somehow you feel the click, but doesn't do anything in the game. Really horrible. Okay, another change, and this is a very positive change. You can see that I have this like, ooh, it's pretty naughty. They're using like this switch, very clickish with the PlayStation logo. And this thing more, look at this. It's clickish, but it's wiggling around. Quite horrible. I already mentioned that the joysticks, like the form factor is different, but they play both just fine. The buttons have still the same issues. I'm hoping I can get this thing like to work. I'm going to open it up in the future. You can hear there is like a different click, but both are not reacting very well. So also the mold is slightly different, because the buttons, not only that they are wiggly and small and clickish, but you can see like they are using the 3D printed now ones, and they are just big. You can see like the mold is slightly different. And here on the top we're going to get some differences too. First of all, this thing has an audio jack. Pretty cool. So the volume control in exactly the same position. They feel the same like the 3D printed buttons. The menu button, basically for entering the menu for aspect ratio. And we're having the button for switching between channels. USB-R here, but this one is a slightly different position. The ventilation over here is bigger. And this has like the on and off switch over here. And we're having the input for the power supply. So there are some differences. When you're looking at the 3D printed buttons over here, so I still notice that this one has less space and the rest of the difference is different, so when you take a close look at the 3D printed buttons, there are some differences. So first of all, the mold is completely different, and the space that you're having, like the travel, and They are not wiggly on the older model, but they have some more space on the newer edition. Quite interesting. But in overall, like, the performance and how they feel and play are exactly the same. So the mold itself is the same, but you can see like they are very naughty putting the PlayStation logo in there. So also here they did some minor changes. And at the bottom part you can see like also this mold, or the top mold is exactly the same, but the bottom one is just different because we're having here with the new one, the input for the power supply and the on and off switch is over here. Okay, so let's boot up both systems. And let's see what we're going to get. Okay, so let's get my weight scale and let's see how are these bad boys. Is one heavier than the other one? Let's find out. Okay, so let's check the weight of the older version that I've bought in 2020. Let's check it out. So in total having 709 grams. And let's switch back to the 2021 model. And let's see how this weighs. And you can see like 741 grams. So there's a minor difference, but there is a difference. Okay, so let's check the quality of the LCD displays. Both have the aspect ratio option in the menu, so that is not a big difference. But let's boot up some games and let's see, is this thing any better when it comes to playing some games? But when you take a close look at both systems, you can see there is a significant difference between the displays. The color aspect ratio is completely different. When you're looking at the top one, like say the 2020 model, the colors look slightly different compared with the newer. But to be honest, I really like the display of the old PlayStation 2 Portable. So you can see there are quite some differences. The only thing that I'm having like some interruption at the top of the screen, you can see like a white line going all nuts. So there are some pros and cons when looking at the system itself. Which one is better? That is up to you to decide. But beside the colors and all the options in the menu, what I do like about the new model, that the aspect ratio is the same maybe, but when you're looking at the resolution, there is not a lot of information that I can find on what kind of LCDs they are using, but you can see that there is a significant difference when it comes to the quality and how good is the image quality of the older and newer model. So give you a quick example, this is the old one, I hope you can see it on the camera, but the newer edition, it has a way better display in it with better resolution because it looks way sharper. Both systems have this horrible high pitch sound, no bass. But the 2021 model does have better speakers. The 2021 model does have better audio output. Alright, so first of all, in the main review I didn't completely tear down with this device and oh boy, it was not good. So the way how they made it was just awful. They didn't even use enough hot glue to put the freaking batteries on the position that it needs to be. So in my opinion, that was just a no-go for me. But when you're looking at the way how he edited like the mainboard and how you put everything in this casing, it's made like in a very strange way, including the CPU fan. The soldering was not that great, and overall it wasn't hot glue and just a cable nightmare first class. I don't know if this is like the person who made it did like a messy job, or this is more like a first prototype. That is something we'll never find out. But let's take a close look at the new version, because this one looks freaking awful. And oh boy, this was a significant upgrade compared with the other version. But the first thing I'm already noticing is that there are a lot of like pre-built PCBs that you can get. And I think in Taobao they are selling these kits that you can basically use for building your own PlayStation 2 Portable. But look at this, they're not even using hot glue, they're using 3D printed pieces of plastic, putting the batteries in. And if you just need to replace them or you need to do some maintenance, this is way better. And look at the CPU fan. The CPU fan is just a brand new one. I think they're using like custom fans, they're using ribbon cables. So this is just a completely different and better build. And the soldering quality is way better than all the other ones that I've seen, like the ones from AliExpress. So yeah, compared with the old one, this is significant better. So that was the comparison with the new version against the old version. So what I like about these comparisons, that you can see like significant differences between the older and newer models. But fun fact that I really like this old display when it looks like the colors and everything. And overall I have no problem with the joysticks. They feel slightly different than this version. They have more sturdy joysticks, but then overall I like it. They play quite good if the buttons would work. In my opinion, most of these things are freaking unplayable if the buttons are not working, because let's be honest, if you want to play a fighting game, there is no way of playing these games. Let me know in the comments what do you think of this. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit the little bell, become a Wicked family, and don't forget to check out the full reviews of both devices. See you next time. Bye bye.